The present situation is wrong, from my opinion. What we have...
The outstanding verification criteria must have been satisfied and must continue to be satisfied moving forward. The testing of Russian athletes must take place without any further adverse incidents or difficulties. RUSAF must explain how, moving forward, it will be able to enforce all suspensions imposed on athletes and athlete support personnel under its jurisdiction in an effective and timely fashion. In addition, the Doping Review Board in IAAF will consider any applications by junior athletes under 18 for permission to compete as neutral athletes in the IAAF World Under 18 Championships in Nairobi in July 2017. Finally, based on the task force report and recommendations, the Council decided not to reinstate RUSAF to membership yet, but to accept the roadmap identified by the task force, specifying the remaining milestones that RUSAF must reach in order to be reinstated. And finally, in the meantime, to give under 15 athletes blanket permission to compete in international events as neutral athletes, and with under 18s and other athletes being permitted to apply on an individual basis for such permission. Thank you, Seb.
Know your name and which organisation you're from. Thank you.
There will be no reinstatement until RUSADA is functioning. And there was one milestone in May where they will start conducting testing, and there will be, presumably, if everything goes in accordance with the plan, be a full reinstatement by November 2017, which means that Russia as a nation, or RUSAF, is not recommended by us to be reinstated until that time. Now, the participation from Russian athletes is a different issue, because since June of last year, there has been a possibility for athletes to apply for eligibility to participate in international competitions. That still stands, and Russian athletes will be able to apply for such participation.
From Inside the Games. Rune, you spoke about wanting some admission of responsibility.
So every waking hours that these guys are focused on this, they are trying, meter by meter, to get to a situation where we get Russian athletes back from clean, secure systems into international competition. Yes, I think there have been some subtle shifts, and I think there is a recognition that this is clearly has been a very disfiguring episode in Russian sport. And I think I'm encouraged by the conversations that I have with the task force, the nature of the report of that task force, but I'm not cavalier about the amount of work that there still remains to be done. And I think the really important concept here, and it's often overlooked, is our ability to separate clean athletes and the potential for clean athletes from a tainted system, and that will take time. And as you know, these are not simply Russian challenges. We have had, anti-doping problems in sport for as long as I have been, an active competitor and in administration. But I did think last year it was important that we began to draw a line in the sand on behalf of our sport.
From the Sports Ministry and the FSB itself, you specifically mentioned
that we have always been at pains to provide an opportunity for athletes that can demonstrate that they are from a clean system, that we are comfortable that the registered testing pool is a valid one, and that they are under international supervision, and that they are in systems that we are comfortable are safe and secure, but most importantly, are not going to jeopardize the opportunities and the chances of the clean athletes that will be competing alongside them. That it's been very important, as I said, that we have done everything we could to separate the regime from the individual athlete, and we've always felt that that was a proportionate response. We did so in and around the maintenance of the suspension of RUSAF at our Vienna meeting, and the ability for athletes to be, if they could prove that they were clean, to have a position or a commitment. But I think Rune has made it very clear that with the maintenance of the suspension of RUSAF, that could only take place on a neutral basis.